Hi, you guys. We're just doing this kind of series of drinking coffee and drawing cartoon characters that on movies that have been worked on by that we get to work on, and that's the coffee. A lot of people ask what my favorite movie is, and that I got to work on, and I loved working on Rover Dangerfield. And my character was this guy, Rocky. And when I wasn't working on him, then I'd work on Rover, or work on the chicken, or the farmer, or whatever. But primarily, I worked on Rocky because I was working under the director. And I would say the highlight of my career was working under Jim George. I learned more from him than probably any movie I've ever worked on. I got to work with Stan Summers, who was a great, great artist, and we teamed up. But I learned from Stan, and he taught me a lot. And we teamed up, and there were three of us following up one animator who was the director, he was tough and he was amazing. So this is actually my scene, and I just Googled it, and it came up, and this is when he goes, "I'm gonna miss you, Rover," and he just drops Rover's in the bag. It's not a very nice film, but that's kind of a tough pose, but that was a real fun character. Here he is. I think this is my drawing also. I think I have this scene, and I can tell it's mine because I really was careful with these lines, adjusting how many of them there were. So let's have a little fun. He's really hard to draw, and especially when you're following up the director. The director on this film, he directed and animated, and that's so cool. It happens quite a bit, though, because, your directors are animators, and, a lot of them, sometimes they're story. So I'm going to give him I don't want to give him a fat neck, so I'm going to give him more of a neck like that. And bring this up here. Boom, boom, boom. I think this is my scene. I don't know, but I want to be able to... The other one was kind of a weird angle. I want you to be able to see all of Rocky. So Rocky is figure drawing, and that's why we require everybody to learn figure drawing to work in the industry, at least my students. And it's so fun to be able to train new students. And he's got this kind of weird hairdo, so you try to silhouette. And again, I haven't drawn this guy forever. And but I did Xerox a lot of the scenes because they were so fun. The director let me have fun with them, so I played a lot with thick and thin, and it was so fun. It was like painting the drawings. So I don't know if you can freeze frame these and look at the line quality, because I put like real thick lines and tried to play with depth of field and stuff. It was really fun. So let's see if this is working. Yeah, we're good. So this is my lay-in. Just like figure drawing, just like we teach in the class. No different. I got that. Boom, boom. And then I'll put that line like that. And give him a real thick neck. A big, burly guy. And, but people are always asking, what's your favorite movie you got to work on? And I always say Rover because I thought the movie was hilarious. I was a huge, huge Rodney Dangerfield fan. He was one of my favorite comedians, and he's just great. He's just real funny. And I thought he had, a lot of really fun lines in the film, and it was his, I mean, when do you get to have a movie where a guy's singing, I'd give up a bone for you, because that's how much you mean to me, or, a Christmas song where he's singing, I'd splash an ash and I'd soak an oak, he's talking about peeing on a tree. And, I just love that kind of humor. You can see it in my drawing, when I do my drawings. They're all scripted, by the way, so if you see my other videos, just understand that they're all scripted. And they're usually stolen from movies and stuff. You know, some people go, oh, you're so crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but they're stolen. He's got a wide nose. Okay, so we're going to give him a wide nose. So this comes from doing a lot of head drawing and drawing every day. So for the people out there who, you know, want to get into the industry, learn to draw. Even if people are telling you you don't have to know how to draw, learn to draw. You know, you're working with people like Jim George. Man, this guy could draw. Oh, God. His roughs were like illustrations. And so if, Jim, you're out there and you're watching this, I praise your name in every class I teach. And so all of the new generations of artists all know who you are, sir. And you are sir. And I learned so much from you. And what a pleasure. You know, I got to work with my friends, you know, they'd animate and stuff, we'd clean it up. And I think we had a lot of fun on Rover. He's got a very wide nose. You just walk your way down, cross contours, boom, 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 boom. And then he's got this kind of a squared off chin. Alright, there's his cheekbone here. Now he's got really big eyes. Just the way he was designed, kind of like Lola, not Lola, but Jessica Rabbit when she says, I can't help it, just drawn this way. And then he's got these brows like that. I'm going to bring the hair down lower, but let's put in the eyes first. You know, very thick upper lid. And then his eyes were always kind of half shut. I liked working on villains a lot because my love was figure drawing, and a lot of the villains were heavy, you know, figure drawing type villains. In my career, I got to work on a lot of villains. Like, I really enjoyed working on Skeletor. I thought he was really cool. I did a lot of He-Man, you know, 5 years of He-Man, so did a ton of He-Man. He wasn't a villain, but he was still figure drawing. But this guy was just mean. He was mean in a nasty way, you know. He wasn't mean in a superhero way. He just did mean things. He wasn't nice to Rover. And, you know, he's just not the kind of guy you want to bring home. So what I would do is I would do my drawings, and you know, I was an assistant. I think I was a key also. I don't remember. But I would show my drawings to Stan, and then Stan would go over them, and then he'd show me his drawings, and then we'd show them to Jim, and Jim would, you know, say, come on, man, you know, get this thing on model, and go back and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. This is funny. I don't know if he's looking like he's on model. He's a really hard character to draw. He's got a cigarette in his mouth. I wonder if that would make it today. I'm kind of a rough type animator. I like to scribble it out. Search out the drawing. And then what you do is you put another piece of paper on top of it and continue to work it. Now this guy was modeled off of James Dean, so a lot of the characters come from other characters. He always had this cast shadow under his nose, which was kind of cool. And a little cast shadow. So we'd have to put a blue line there, because that would be a self-inking line. That means they would ink that line to make it so it didn't have this real dark. So the whole drawing would be done in black, but the shadows would be drawn in blue, which is easy. Just take a blue pencil and just draw it. And the inkers would know then to ink that line, and it was really pretty. This is a off-model Rocky. And we could go like this. So we take another piece of paper. You go like that. And then you start making your changes, you see. So let's have some fun with that. So go like that. It's got kind of a shorter nose here. And then I say, you know what, this should be, I'm going to structure it. Let's bring this out a little bit more. Always thinking structure. And go like this. Make your changes. I like to, I'm used to flipping. Got a higher cheekbone. That's a Rocky thing. So we got that. And go around there. Now I got to bring the mouth up. Now this would not be my final rough. And he was by far the hardest character I've ever had to work on. And the most challenging animator because he was a draftsman that I've rarely had a chance to meet. He's a trumpet player, the director, and he worked out a lot. He had really big arms, and he was very serious. Nice guy, though, but he really cared about his craft. And again, you know, it's like I got to work under him. I also got to work at home. So, where maybe in a studio, you know, you might put in, you know, so much time on a drawing. You know, you got to rush to the next drawing because you have to get, you know, 8 drawings, a day. Because I worked at home and because I'm a fanatic, I might put in, for an 8-hour day, don't tell the union, I might put in 15 hours. Because I really wanted to get my stuff as close to being right as possible. So, you know, I really put in a lot of hours, but I could because I was working at home. And I didn't have to, you know, nobody could, you know, look over my shoulder and go, come on, get that, you know, scene done faster. And then I would, you know, go to the studio and turn in my scenes and get another scene. You know, hang out with people, hang out with your friends, and meet with my director, who was my, you know, I really worshipped him. The other thing is that the director, when he was animating, he would have a little sign on his door that says, you know, basically keep out, you know. But that was for everybody but me, because I was his assistant. And so what I would do is I would go in and just sit and watch him animate, you know, just hang out. And God, that's when you learn, you know, when you can sit down with a master like him and just watch him work. You're just like, oh man, that's so good. You just hang out and then go home and lick your wounds because you're not as good as him, and study. I'm going to bring this in. All right, starting to look a little bit more like Rocky. And the question is, how many times do you do a drawing over again? Do it till you get it. And then if you're having trouble, you take it back in and you show it to one of your buddies and say, can you go over this drawing for me? Because I'm really dying. And then they go, yeah, and they draw over it. As soon as they start to draw over it, you say, give it back because you see all your mistakes. And then so it's been a while since I've had to draw Rocky from scratch. But, hey, you know, we're all family. It was kind of mean. I'm gonna miss you, Rover. Hey, Rover. You know, and he's got that dark hair, which is... You see the change? And just keep doing it. So you never, you know, people, I gotta get it right the first time. Why? You know? Why do you have to get it right the first time? Jim did a lot of these things. He would put in like 50 million of these like fabric lines. Like, no, we need to get this thing done. And every one of these lines costs money. So I would go ahead and just put in what I needed to show the character, you know, and you know, to get the job done and no more, because I was budget conscious. I didn't want the movie to go totally over budget because we put in too many fabric lines. All right, so Stan, if you're out there, you're my hero. And I worked with Stan on, let's see, Rover. We worked on Fern Gully. We did the ending scene with the crazy guy with the fire, you know, that I guess was Hexus, you know, it was like wild, crazy. Did a lot of, so we worked together on Rover, and then we worked together on Bay-Based Kids. So Stan and I were like a kind of a really fun team, and we got along, and I respected him, and he respected me, I hope. And Stan, if you're out there, I hope that you're well and wish for you the best of everything that is the best. And for Jim, if you're out there, you're my hero, and I sing your praise to every class I teach. And I hope you're well and all your friends and family. That is a really off-model Rocky, but hey, what are you going to do?